Like and subscribe right now, or else this will be in your bed tonight. r/AskReddit by Wallety. What is something socially acceptable today that might get banned in the next 100 years? Wearing a mask in a bank. So you're saying quarantine will be over by 2120? Bold. Probably going to be a quarantine for some new disease by then if the patterns seen from prior centuries mean anything. Spanish flu was almost exactly 100 years ago. Fucking single-use plastic. It's crazy, in Denmark they make plastic bags out of sugarcane. They are 100% recyclable. Why other countries aren't doing this is beyond me. It's not more expensive. Sugarcane is renewable energy. Fossil oil is not. That does sound great. Thoughts on sugarcane turning into the new palm oil if this became widespread? Sugarcane is farmed. Palm oil, the issue is PPL burn down forests and shit. The way we willingly share our information online. Eventually the pendulum is going to swing to the other side and we are going to limit what companies take from us. Granted, I do feel like this change is not going to come out of goodwill, but it's going to happen nonetheless. So true. Part of it stems, at least in my opinion, from the fact that humans have no inherited handed-down societal traits regarding online behavior. We all learn social cues on behaving in public. Fear of unsafe streets or location strangers from our parents or our community at large, but there isn't any parallel for online behavior. Most adults would lock the house before going out, because we know inherently that's the safe thing to do. But not many would do the online equivalent of digital safety when we log in, because perhaps the digital societal cues, if I can call it that, doesn't exist yet. Perhaps because the internet is so novel. I agree with you that there really aren't any intuitive social cues on the internet, but just speaking for myself, I was always taught with the mentality that the internet was a public place and that you should expect everything you see and do is visible to everyone. My parents and teachers always warned that our job prospects would be forever ruined if we had so much as one photo of us with a beer in our hand on Facebook. Employers look for that kind of thing. They warn. Have a professional image online. Sure, I want to stay safe behind my username from other people, just as I wouldn't want everyone on the street to know where I live. But broadly speaking, the idea of internet privacy has never really struck me as anything I should expect. The idea YouTube has a file listing every single video I've ever watched or searched for doesn't strike me as any more a violation of my rights than the cashier at the grocery store keeping their receipt. Even anonymity on Reddit is a joke. You can pretty much discern identity, or really narrow it down, by combing through your post-comment history. We leave these kinds of digital breadcrumbs around constantly, not because we're dumb, but because they're often worth sharing for a myriad of reasons. The memes are just a bit lackluster. We forget about the permanence of what we do. Until now, it hasn't been too much of an issue, because there are just so many people, too many to comb through. But with the advent of AI, just think, my government, and if not them, a string of hyper-wealthy corporations with agendas, very probably knows that I am a homosexual from the data I have created online. No doubt they have that information stored somewhere, even though it's really of no use to them. But that doesn't mean that they will never have a use for it, and that's chilling. Another Holocaust would be leagues more efficient and deadly than anything Hitler gave us. Going to work sick, especially now. There's no way that it should be allowed to force your employees to come to work while suffering with an illness that could be spread to other employees. One can hope. For many, not going into work sick means being fired, or not making ends meet on payday. This is my main reason for going to work sick. Not right now, cause that'd be stupid, and also I'm laid off, but most of the time, if I don't work my full schedule, I can't make my bills. Multi-level marketing. They should really be illegal already. Pyramid schemes are illegal, at least in the UK, and the only difference is that MLMs claim to be about sales. They're not though. The stuff they sell is so overpriced that no one sane would buy it. The sales bit is only there to argue they aren't a pyramid scheme, which they are. I really hope they get banned soon. They often appeal to people with money troubles and make their problems worse. What keeps them from being technically illegal? Lobbying? The DeVos family has entered chat. Tail docking and ear cropping as breed standards in dogs, unless they are legit working dogs. It's basically mutilating an animal for no good reason. To add to this, Certain breeds should be banned as well, like pugs because the squished face isn't cute, it's cruel. Bulldogs too, they're basically tortured their entire lives with a lack of oxygen. This never goes down too well on Reddit, but anyway, I own a bulldog, a French bulldog. Specifically, the lack of oxygen thing is called brachycephalic airway obstructive syndrome. It's primarily caused by too much soft palate tissue, because the skull has been shortened but the palate has not. Not all bulldogs have the problem. Mine does not. Specifically, he has been examined by a vet under general anesthetic for a standard procedure, not just to check his palate, and it has been confirmed that he does not have it. He is fit, has good stamina and can run flat out for a solid amount of time. No problem. He does not have the syndrome because I bought him from a breeder who breeds them not to have it, which is why I chose that breeder. That breeder also breeds them so that they can and do conceive naturally, no artificial insemination, and give birth naturally, no C-section. What you end up with is a French bulldog that looks slightly different, quite large and with a short but not flat nose, and who would be disqualified from a dog show for breaching at least one breed standard requirement, but is still a French bulldog. Bulldogs did not always have these issues. If you search online you can find old pictures where they looked closer to a staffy. There is no reason they have to have these issues. It can and should be bred out of them, even by crossbreeding if necessary, without losing the breed entirely. Bottled water in sizes less than 1 gallon. The store I work at sells water cooler jugs, and if you bring them back the person at the door will give you a coupon-like thing for every jug you bring back. And it basically refunds you the deposit on a new jug, which is $5. We need to do more like that. Fand. We can all just refuse to buy it. I take a glass or metal water bottle and fill it up with filtered tap water, or I bring a gallon jug to work, filled with the same water. I reuse the jug when I run out. Does daylight savings time ban count? Do you mean daylight savings time or do you mean switching between standard time and daylight savings time? Because if you're going to take my 9:30 PM sunsets away. Hopefully keep the longer days in the summer, and just don't adjust in the winter. Agree. Coming home from work in the dark is depressing. I wouldn't mind going to work in the dark because at least I'd have daylight to look forward to. Any commercial directed towards children under the age of 12. This is already in practice in a few European countries. Wait, so can you not advertise toys at all? Maybe they could advertise to the parents to buy the toy for their kid? The UK already has this for food. The advertising has shifted towards claiming how healthy the product is or makes adverts that are technically for and about adults but still appeal to kids. Haribo's a good example of this. Not vaccinating your kids. The question said socially acceptable. How is that in any way socially acceptable today? It's socially acceptable enough to cause measles outbreaks, stroke. United States wise, I really think we are going to come down on these lifetime politicians. Also the amount of lobbying that takes place that does not have the voters in mind and the amount of money they make. Keep dreaming. Kids today are smarter than our generation. They see bullshit quicker and are good about calling it out. You and I will be long dead, but them and their children, I have faith in them. The problem is and always will be that the people who are in a position to change things in politics are also the ones who stand to benefit the most from maintaining the status quo. Factory farming, fossil fuels, mass deforestation. Legalize reforestation. I didn't think reforestation was illegal. It's already cringe that some folks don't seem to mind these. American football will probably change a lot. It's already different than it was 2 Super Bowls ago. How so? So many rule changes have limited the ways defenses can tackle. This has led to way more offense overall. Loot boxes. It's already starting to attract attention as a form of gambling that needs to be regulated and age restricted. Ladies and gentlemen, we got 'em. EA has entered the chat. Gerrymandering. Hopefully, edit. Yo guys, I've never gotten this many upvotes. Have any of you played the gerrymandering game before? It'll show you how ridiculous this system is. Restricting game.org link. It's already illegal, yet it happens anyway. Maryland is especially bad. RIP, I live in North Carolina. Supposedly the worst case in the nation. Let's cry together. I live in Austin, the largest city in the US without a dedicated representative because the state legislature split the city across 6 districts. Can I join in on the crying? Companies demanding unnecessary personal information to do business with you. I want to exchange cash for goods. You do not need my name, phone number, home address, credit card, social security number, and to set up a store account. This is already banned in Europe. It's exactly what GDPR is all about. Join our community Discord, link in description. Child marriage. Like, why the yuck is child marriage legal in most of the United States? Yes, they're making a big deal about states that have recently banned child marriages, and I'm thinking, wait, recently? What the yuck? That's a thing in the US? Yes, it's a thing. I believe only 3-ish states had child marriage banned completely. The youngest that has been married was about 11 or 12 in PA, I think. States say that they are against child marriage, but there are loopholes in almost every state. The breakdown of socially accepted agreed upon knowledge. A majority of the world just walks around with a fact-check device in their pocket. It's not like it's hard to do a few Google searches. People are just stupid and think they know everything. I second this opinion. Edit. I would like to bring emphasis to the fact it was like socially accepted agreed upon topics. Some of you don't seem to understand stuff like politics, or arcane wizardry isn't stuff that is widely accepted agreed upon in society. So I mean, maybe y'all should read a bit more, no offense. Man shrugging. A lot of people cannot rate sources. That's already happening. 2 outlets will report the same story with 2 different interpretations. As in, one will say someone admitted to something and the other day they were proven innocent. For-profit health insurance. Let's make money based off other people being sick and vulnerable, and then still not ucking help them based on loopholes. Who the uck thought that would be a good idea? The only people who think that it's a good idea are making money. Having an opinion out of line with what China deems acceptable. Mayo, you just landed on 50 hit lists. Come and get me, China. They don't have the balls. Showing people pictures of your kids when no one asked. We can all dream. Also add without the kids' permission. God knows how embarrassed I was when one of my relatives that I've never seen in my life told me she saw me naked at 6 months old through photographs. Why widely share pictures of your nude baby? Why tell a family member you saw them naked? Why's all around? Am I the only one that doesn't have a problem with this? I don't have any kids because I'm young, but I think it's cool they're proud of their children enough to show them off. Outsourcing labor to impoverished countries with slave wages. Outsourcing labor to impoverished countries with slave wages. I recently had this discussion, so we'll leave this with you. What we see as slave wages and slave conditions they might see as above average wage and above average conditions for their country. Would you rather those people go unemployed and possibly starve, or let them work for you under what they think are acceptable conditions? Hopefully in the next 100 years it will no longer be seen as socially acceptable to continue trying to ban everything. So you want to banning everything? Ban on bans. Eating animals. Not a vegan or vegetarian. I am a chef who loves his meat. However, with all the meat alternatives on the rise, I reckon this might get phased out in the next 100 or so years. Yep, once lab-grown meat alternatives get cheaper than animal meat, it's going to be pretty socially unacceptable to eat animal. Lying about your child's age so you can make brand deals. What's happening? I'm not 100% sure who OP is talking about in their comment, but I know about Danielle Cohn, whose mom sexually objectifies her online to the point where it's just unbearable. This has been happening for a while now, and nothing has been done about it. Her mom says she's 16, but there's concrete evidence that she's actually 14, including a leaked birth certificate. Her mom makes her wear skimpy clothing. She dates boys that are 4 or 5 years older than her. There's something going on right now where she's dating an 18-year-old, which is not okay. And there was even something earlier about her having an abortion. I don't know if that's true. It's disgusting, and nothing has been done about it. Hopefully all the pedophiles on Twitter. That's socially acceptable? Well, Twitter as a company seems to think it's okay because they just totally ignore that shit. Title said socially acceptable. Not technically, not illegal, not widely seen as disgusting. Scientology. Labor is used for mining. But how else will we get that sweet diamond armor? Mine it yourself. Petroleum powered vehicles. Like and subscribe for good luck.